bust you need it, I'll bleed it. Geeking off a perkin', bitch, I'm feeling like a demon. Bitch, I came in, drifting on the pavement. Pass me the stainless, I'm mask off, faceless. Rider, bust you need it, I'll bleed it. Geeking off a perkin', bitch, I'm feeling like a demon. Bitch, I came in, drifting on the pavement. Pass me the stainless, I'm mask off, faceless. Fuck it up, bitches fuck with me like a double cup. Pouring up, pull up to the scene with a double dutch. Buckle up, racing on the street with a muscle front. Huddle up, fucking with my team, y'all be coming up. Ooh, none of these bitches ever heard about you. Zooming through the block with the murdered out coupe. Bulling with the Glock, I could do without you. Running with the clock, they forgot about you. Hit rock, I'm tied with your bitch like a ziplock. Wristwatch, icy with the drip when it's hit top. Breath top, yeah, I caught a body with a headshot. Guess not, I'm a chili pepper, bitch, I'm red hot. Rider, bust you need it, I'll bleed it. Geeking off a perkin', bitch, I'm feeling like a demon. Bitch, I came in, drifting on the pavement. Pass me the stainless, I'm mask off, faceless. Rider, bust you need it, I'll bleed it. Geeking off a perkin', bitch, I'm feeling like a demon. Bitch, I came in, drifting on the pavement. Pass me the stainless, I'm mask off, faceless. They don't like me, bitches wanna fight me. Hot in my white tee, shorty wanna bite me. She excite me, shorty Aphrodite. Hot stepping lightly, fucking with a Pisces. Give me top, I can never really rock. Hot, really thought, with your bitch I really talk.
Hey, welcome back guys and girls. Welcome back to another average palm tree video. Today I am finally making an update video on my very first video, which is by far the most popular and most viewed video that I have. So it's great that it helped y'all so much, and I'm gonna make an updated one because that one's a little outdated because they've been patching this game so much. And yeah, so this is an updated one. So in the gameplay right now, I'm in the F4E Phantom. I'm using the Money Mouse unguided rocket loadout. It has like 285 individual rockets, and I'm on Tunisia, I believe, or Sicily. I don't know. They're both the same, just a little different, but anyway, we're gonna talk about the sim tactics and sim grinding. So, this is something that's new, and it's been like this for the last like 3 or 4 months. Is that rockets are worth more per hit than bombs? So it's weird that I'd be bombing an airfield with rockets, even though the F4E does have a very good bomb loadout. And yes, you're right, but the rockets give you a lot more. So if you're in the top tier, if you're in a Phantom or the new Corsair, well, maybe not the Corsair because that has not as good rocket loadout. But if you're in an aircraft that has access to unguided rockets and bombs, I'd choose the unguided rockets over the bombs. They're a little easier to use, and they give you more per hit. So they're worth a lot more. So for top tier, even for low tier, but low tier doesn't have as good unguided rockets. But yeah, strive to use unguided rockets over bombs. They're worth more and easier to use. So I covered most of the airfield hit points and hit boxes and how to destroy them in the last video, but I'll give a quick overview. There's 4 green tiles surrounding the red stripe, which is the red stripe is the airfield, the runway specifically, and then the 4 boxes are the modules or components of that airstrip. And there's the barracks, there's the hangars, there's the field, the oil and gasoline dump, and then last but not least, there's the airstrip health itself. And in order to completely destroy the airfield, you have to get every one of those boxes completely blacked out, which means you have completely destroyed those boxes. So what those boxes do, they each have a different service. The hangars, which are the easiest ones to hit, those are usually the ones I go for first, And that's just me because usually you won't have enough time to destroy an airfield unless you have a wingman. But yeah, I usually go for the hangars because they're these to hit. Um, and that's like rearmament time and repair time. So if a enemy aircraft lands on the airfield and needs to repair and rearm, that's it. If it's damaged, if you have damaged their hangars to like a yellow or red, it'll add an extra minute and a half to their repair and rearm. The oil dump is very similar. It's a lot smaller though and a lot harder to hit, but it is very similar in that the more damage it is, the longer it takes for a landed aircraft, to refuel. So it's not repair rearm, but this time it's refuel. So it'll take an extra minute and a half to refuel their aircraft than it would if it was full health. The barracks are the campground. Um, that one's pretty easy to hit. That one's if you're trying to destroy the airfield, that's the one you need to go for because that's how they're able to repair the airfield. So if you completely destroy that module, none of the other modules will repair themselves because eventually the modules will repair themselves. They'll go from red to yellow and then yellow to green. It will take a while, but they will repair themselves, self-repair, unless that campground is completely destroyed, blacked out, that box is blacked out, then the airfield will not repair, and you'll be able to completely bomb the airfield without worrying that it's going to repair. And then the last one, which is the airstrip itself, if that's destroyed, then that prevents other enemies from spawning on that airfield. So if you've destroyed that one component, then that airfield's pretty much useless to spawning enemies. Of course, enemies can still land on it, repair. But yeah, that's how that works. The airstrip is the bottom left. And this is able to change. It could be flipped, so the bottom left becomes the top right, and the bottom right becomes the top left. So it just flips on some maps. I believe Smolensk. Yeah, that's one of them. But Tunisian Sicily, the ones I like to play, my favorite maps and the most common ones, do not have this problem. But yeah, so the bottom left is the airstrip health. The bottom right is the fuel dump, or the closest. The closest is the bottom to you. The bottom is the closest to you and your airfield. And then the top ones, the ones farther away, the top left is the campground, and the top right is the hangars. So that's how airstrips and airfields work in Sim. Now, uh, so right now, the Phantom, that's what I use for grinding. Remember, this is a common mistake. You need to look at your aircraft's research rank capability, because some aircrafts can only research ranks between X and Z. So, for example, the Phantom can only research ranks 5 through 7. So, and a lot of people commented on my last one saying, why did I only get 10k towards the Focke-Wulf 190 or something? And that's because it's out of your aircraft's research range. So your aircraft is only able to research vehicles within the ranks that stated. So the Phantom can only research ranks 5 through 7. So that means if I have an amazing game, get 20,000 points in a game, which would normally be, if I was researching like the Corsair or the Harrier, it would be like 160, 180,000 RP. But then I only get like 60k RP to the F4U, maybe less. Actually, most likely, yes, it'll probably be like 40, 30k. And you're like, where the hell did all this go? That's because it's outside your aircraft's research efficiency. So just make sure you're researching an aircraft that's within the aircraft you're using's parameter. So that's just a good tip. Also, using bombers in Sim, like I said before, rockets are a little bit better. However, bombs still work, especially for low tier, such as the German, the like the most common one I see, and actually my last video was the America bomber. That's a very popular for the German tech tree. My personal experience is the B-25J1 is very good for the Americans. Once you get to the B-29, B-17, then you use that till you get to the F4 or something, and then you research all your other tech trees out. Um, Germans, the Grief, once you get to the Grief, then use that till you get to the IL-28, and then use the IL-28 to progress on to rank 7, or excuse me, rank 6. Um, so, yeah, there's that. Now for spawning wise and spawn point requirement, you'll notice whenever I flick the map just to check my location, you'll see there is a 450 spawn point requirement for the F4E Phantom, and for the F4C, and for the A7 Corsair, which I don't have in this video, but and for anything else that's of rank 6 and 9.0 plus or something. But you'll notice the A2D and the B57 do not have a spawn point requirement, and that's because they're below the rank, the max rank and max BR of my aircraft, and the aircraft and the BR range of this SB game. So if you're trying to get into an SB game and avoid a spawn point requirement, um, unfortunately, you can't do that with the F4 Phantoms. No matter what you do, you will have a spawn point requirement. Since this is the top BR and top tier, there's no way to avoid that. So make sure you bring a A2D or something that's of lower rank that lets you spawn in with first, or else you'll be provided with an aircraft if nothing in your lineup if everything in your lineup requires spawn points, you will be provided with an aircraft to get those spawn points to be able to spawn in your own personal aircraft. But just make sure you bring something of your own because it's a little easier and more reliable. But if you are trying to get no spawn point on, for example, the B-25, which is 3.7, battle rating of 3.7, you want to be playing in a 3.7 to like a 4.3 SB game, or like a 5 point, or what is it, a 4.7 to a 5.3 or something. You want to be playing in the BR bracket above the BR bracket that your bomber or aircraft that you would like to use is in. So SB is divided into, I believe, 5 parts. So you have like 1.0 to 2.3, and then 2.3 to 3.7, and then 3.7 to 4.3, and then 4.7 to 5. Etc. etc. Of course, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it is something to that degree. So you want to be playing in the BR bracket that's above the aircraft that you're in. So if your plane is a 4.7, and let's say, for example, the BR brackets are 4.3 to 5.3, and then 5.7 to 6.3, you want to hop in that 5.7 game, because that, once you're in that, since you're using a underpowered air quotes underpowered aircraft for the BR range of that SB game, they will allow you to spawn in that aircraft without a spawn point requirement. But you'll notice that if you have, let's say, a fighter like the P-51, the P-51H, that is what 5.0, that will have an SP requirement because that it's in that BR bracket. So it is qualified and good enough, air quotes once again, to compete, and hence needs a spawn points to spawn in it. So if you're trying or attempting to get into a game and not have to worry about a spawn point requirement on your aircraft, make sure that you're in a BR bracket that's one above yours. And if you're not, then you will have a spawn point requirement. If you are, then you won't. So there's that. Also, another pointer is that this has changed since the last video. Is Jaying out or suiciding in a sense into airfields. It was very popular back when I made my last video, but now it has been changed. The SB game has been changed, so you get way less points if you J out of your aircraft or crash into the ground after bombing an airfield. So, in light of that, don't. You're better off flying, bombing the airfield, and then returning and landing at your airfield because you will get full credit for that, for those tons dropped or whatever. Um, Whereas if you J out or you crash, then you'll only receive half of that. So if you receive 2,000 RP for one bomb load, dispensing the three 1,000 pounders on the B-25, if you crash or J out, you only receive 1,000 RP at the end of the game for that particular bomb run. If you land at your airfield, you receive full credit and get the 2,000 RP for that bombing run. So just make sure you land and complete your bombing run. That's all I have for this video at the moment. Any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll respond as quickly as possible. I'll make another one if there's a lot of questions that I didn't answer in this video, which I hope I have, and I did my best. But if you still have questions, nonetheless, leave them in the comments. And if there's enough questions, I'll make another video on this, directed specifically towards all the questions. But if there's only a few, I'll still answer them in the comments. But yeah. Anyway, I hope y'all have a great Christmas, happy Hanukkah, just happy holidays, and have fun flying. I'll see y'all later. Bye.